Approximately 5% of medical students in the United States have children. However, there is a notable lack of research and information on the experiences of these student parents and what support systems are in place for them within medical schools. It makes me wonder, how does one navigate the hardships of med school with the challenges of being a parent? So let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. I'm Frishta Saifi,
Katie Thomas.
and welcome to Real Talk Med School. So today, Katie is going to talk to us about being a mom in medical school. So can you tell me a little bit about your family?
Yeah, so I have two kids with my boyfriend. My boyfriend and I have been together about 5 years now. Our
Awesome.
son is 3.5. His name's Link.
Aw.
And our daughter will be 2 in August. Her name's Addie.
Oh, very nice. And so you all live together here in New Jersey?
Yeah, interesting situation actually is that we live with my sister and her boyfriend too in
Mm.
our childhood home that we are renting from my parents.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was what we decided was best for them and for us.
Mm-hmm.
um, which is, I mean, my big thing with being a mom in med school is knowing your priorities. So I live, it's about 45 minutes from school, but I know that that's better for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to make that sacrifice to drive because it's
Yeah.
better for them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like for them to have like the home environment and then also like your family there. So I'm
Yeah,
sure that they help you in any way
so
possible.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. I wanted to ask, so before starting medical school, did you get any negative feedback on starting school while being a mom? And I only asked that just because actually like my cousin is thinking about going to medical school, but she was kind of like, what type of judgment will I receive if people are thinking that I'm prioritizing my education over my kids? So I was wondering if you had like a similar situation.
I got a few comments about like, oh, that sounds impossible. They're not going to see you. But I also had some negative feedback just already as a working mom.
Mm-hmm.
The job I had, I worked 24-hour shifts at the time, so I already spent time away from them, and I really was able to just ignore it. I mean, I get it; it is a big commitment, and I don't spend as much time with them as I would like. But in the long run, it'll be worth it for them to have a mom who's doing something she wants to do.
Right, of course. And I feel like it's also something of like people don't realize that it's it's actually normal not to see your parents so much.
Yeah,
I feel like you're very like lucky if you can have one stay-at-home parent and somebody to work, but in this economy, it's really like a two-income household. So it makes sense that like, we can't put that expectation on ourselves that we can just be home with kids and family all day when like you said, we really have to like go out there and get a career of our own as well.
yeah, yeah.
So okay, so that's nice that you were able to just kind of like push that criticism to the side and say like, no, like my kids will be most happiest if mom is happy.
Yeah. It's it was a lot to think about at the time and to, realize that for these years I would have to sacrifice a little bit. But like you said, like I said, for me to be happy, but also to show them that it's never too like late to follow your dream.
Mm-hmm.
That I started, I was 29 when I started, but I'm 30 now. And
Mm-hmm.
for them to know that, yeah, you can change your mind. You can go back and do big things and scary things.
Yeah, yeah. Or are you like a career changer? Like were you doing something before?
Yeah, so I was a high school teacher and have a master's in teaching, but
Mm-hmm.
then I hated that pretty quickly and got my paramedic, and I was a paramedic for just under 5 years.
Oh, nice. And
So
then
still medical, but a whole
yeah,
career.
what made you want to be like, okay, like I want to go full blown doctor, like into the
I've
field?
wanted to since I was little, and then I talked myself out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I was a medic, just how much I loved it was enough for me to be like, okay, it is going to be time to go back,
Mm-hmm.
time to take the next step in this career. EMS can be hard on you physically as well, in and out of the truck. I knew I didn't want to do that forever, and
Yeah, for
this
sure.
was the next step for me.
How do you manage being a mom and also a first year medical student?
The biggest thing is having a solid support system.
Mm-hmm.
So moving back up here, I knew I would have my sister, my dad's nearby, my grandparents are well, yeah, both of my grandparents are nearby,
Mm-hmm.
and aunts and uncles are nearby, and I knew that that was going to be the biggest thing, and it's been even more amazing to have them nearby than I expected, especially my sister.
Yeah, so it's like they sound very young, right? So I'm assuming that they're not in school.
They're in daycare slash preschool.
Mhm.
Preschool starts, depending on your level, somewhere between 2 and 3. Link started just shy of 3,
Mm,
or between 3 and 4, but he started just shy of 3.
gotcha.
And then Addie's in the daycare portion at the same facility.
Hmm. Okay, so like while you're at school, they're at daycare,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm assuming like when you get out of class, you go and you pick them up, and then what happens at home? Like obviously, like you have to take care of your kids and everything, but then you have to study. So like, how do you kind of navigate that?
Yeah, so from when I pick them up, which is depending on when class gets out, sometimes I go a little early, but usually between 4:30 and 5.
Hmm.
Between then and their bedtime is no school. I don't,
Mm,
well, I do think about school. I can't help it, but I try not to think about school. I don't touch my laptop. I don't check my email unless there's something urgent going on.
mhm.
I probably won't respond to a school person's text. Like, I just,
No school at all.
it's their time.
Hmm.
So we'll have dinner, we'll play, bath time, whatever. Then we have our cute little nighttime routine where one of us brushes their teeth, and then the other one reads. And after they go to bed is my study time.
Hmm. Wow, that's really honestly like amazing because like my routine right now, I live with my boyfriend, and we just have like a small apartment together. And my routine is like go home, try to study all the content, freak out about how much I don't know,
Yeah.
like try to study even more. So that's why like I can't even comprehend how like somebody can just say like school time is like it's over once like
Yeah.
class is over, you know. But yeah, you I guess you have to make that sacrifice for your kids because your kids are priority and then comes school
Yeah.
and you're killing it. Like, you know,
Thank you.
yeah, you're almost an M2.
Yep.
Like, it's just amazing, honestly.
Thank you. Yeah, it is a lot about prioritizing and knowing that for me, because I'm already sacrificing some time with them, there needs to be time that is theirs. If it's a particularly busy week, I will ask for what I call a no kids night,
Hmm.
which means that I will disappear and my boyfriend picks them up and he
Hmm.
handles dinner and everything. He's been amazing about doing that when I need, but I haven't done one in a while. I used them several times in SP.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Um, but not as much recently. And then weekends, the same kind of thing. I'll block out time that's theirs and
Hmm.
time that I'm okay with studying.
Hmm.
And most of it is after they go to bed. But some during nap time and some other times where I'll leave them with my boyfriend and go study. But blocking out time is what's
Hmm.
working.
Wow, I feel like I'm gonna just act like I have kids
Yeah.
just so I can do that because I really need to block out some time for myself too. But yeah, that no, that's honestly amazing. Um, and so actually, one of my friends recently got accepted to medical school. So she got accepted
Exciting.
this cycle. Yeah. And she just found out that her and her husband are pregnant with their first child.
Oh, that's
So
so exciting.
do you have any advice for someone who's going to be a first time mom and a medical student?
First, set realistic expectations with yourself. You can't do everything. Um, and there's going to have to be places where you sacrifice or take a step back. For me, that's knowing, thankfully, we're at a pass fail school, but knowing that I'm not going to be the number one student and I'm not going to be perfect. I am on track and doing really well, but I'm not going to be number one. So acknowledging like my own limitations on I only have a certain amount of time to study, and that's okay. And also knowing that I'm gonna miss some things for the kids. One of our midterm was the day after Mother's Day. Their daycare had a mommy and me or muffins with mommy kind of thing, and I couldn't go to that because we had our midterm. So knowing that you can't be perfect at everything and giving yourself that grace to just do the best you can.
Yeah, for sure. And then I wanted to know, like, what type of specialty are you thinking about going into?
I'm currently still pretty set on emergency medicine.
Okay.
It never left my blood after I left being in EMS.
Yeah.
Pros and cons to it. I mean, it's shift work, so when I'm done with work, I'll be home. But it's not one that I'm gonna get nights and weekends off. So it'll be a balance in the future.
Mhm. So, for my last question is, how do you think being a parent now will make you a better doctor later?
Patience. Uh, I don't know if you've listened to a 3-year-old tell a story before, but it's not the most logical. And you just kind of have to flow with it and be able to go with the flow. And I feel like that's the same way with talking to the other kind of patients now is You have to go where their conversation is going to lead you, be able to kind of push it back on track when you need, but just be able to listen and be present. And also to not get frustrated by things. Because, man, children, I love them, but sometimes they are frustrating.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything else that you would like to tell our viewers about being a mom in medicine?
It is doable. You can do it. It is hard. There are challenges that other people aren't going to have. You're going to get frustrated when you hear some people complaining about how little time they have, and you're like, I literally am raising two human beings. I have half the time you do. But it's it's doable and it's worth it if that's where you want to be in your life. Like if you are, I want to start a family, I want to have a family, I want to have kids, you can make it work. You can.
So much. I really appreciated this talk, and I'm sure that our viewers will as well.
No problem.
I hope listening to Katie's experience as an amazing mom and medical student inspires confidence in all parents and future parents, demonstrating that it is possible to balance parenthood while pursuing your dreams.